Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bluford's Tax Preparation, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, Casa Samtonieta Indialapa, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, John Boutique Hotel and Co-work, Motown Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners.
How fun. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. How fun. I just updated the community partners intro video because we are set to go at least for the next few months. And that is all plugged in, and I am very happy. And speaking of community partners, look who's here. Stan, my dear friend and community partner from Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback. Stan and I are cooking something wonderful that I'm hoping to be able to tell you more details about later on this week. But hey, it is great to see you all. Today is Tuesday, July 22nd. It is a pleasure to be here for more coffee, more headlines, more stories about Puerto Vallarta or our state, Jalisco, or our country, Mexico, or whatever it is that you bring to the table as it relates to what we do. So I hope you're having a good day. Today we have a lot of news to share, and at your request, we have an extended show and tell of my, I think it's my last visit to Las Ánimas. I don't think I ever went back after I went. When I went, I think it was 2018. We'll get into that in a second. But first, as always, we're going to take a look at the news. We're going to take a look at your good mornings in a second. If you have something really important to share or an important question, please add a capital letter Q. And if you are watching live for the first time and would like a nice friendly welcome from the cluster, all you have to do is add a capital letter N to your comment, and we'll be so happy to give you a welcome. And we start our news selection with this one on the Bobadilla Olympic Pool, which is an Olympic-sized swimming pool in Bobadilla, that is very popular among swimmers and professional swimming athletes. That's what I'm trying to say. The pool has been closed for a while, and it's scheduled to be maintained, and for a while didn't know if they were going to clean it or reconstruct it or what. It is not open to the public right now. The water is filthy. And finally, we have an update here. Puerto Vallarta Mayor Luis Munguia has announced that the decision has finally been made to rebuild the pool, which is part of the Alfonso Diaz Santos Sports Complex, better known as La Bobadilla. It is currently abandoned and unmaintained, so much so that the health authorities had to intervene as it has become a breeding ground for mosquitoes that transmit the dengue fever. Not good. So the good news is they are now looking into it and removing the mosquito threat. And of course, there is no specific date in sight just yet for when the reconstruction will take place. And, as an aside, you got to love what newspapers choose to use as their leading photograph for an article. This is what came with this one, so it is what it is. As you may recall, a new specialties hospital has been announced for Puerto Vallarta just a couple of months ago. The specialty hospital is planned to be linked to the University of Guadalajara, the University of Guadalajara's local campus, which we know as the CUC. And the purpose of this linking is to fulfill academic and medical training functions at the hospital. Now, this is excellent news. That said, the project is still in the planning stage, and we don't expect that construction will begin on the project until sometime next year. Now, this is new news, but it shouldn't be. It's actually old news because it happens as a routine. Water gets checked at local beaches. Some beaches pass, some beaches don't pass. And as soon as they don't pass, the government quickly tries to do whatever they can or should do so that the beaches can be retested and hopefully pass the swimmability test. And now, of course, as history repeats itself, Zapal will conduct new quality tests on the waters of Mismaloya, Camarones, and Cuale beaches, which were recently found to be contaminated with feces. Ooh. According to monitoring results from COFEPRIS, or the Federal Commission for the Protection Against Sanitary Risks. And this is great news for Mexico. This one came from Banderas News. Mexico's tourism industry is expecting an impressive growth in 2025 with 39.4 million international visitors arriving between January and May, which represents a 14.2 increase over the same period last year and reflects our country's strong appeal as a top global travel destination. The article came from Banderas News. It is in English and it has some great and interesting additional numbers about which destinations are more popular and what not. And of course, our President Sheinbaum, continues to meet with her cabinet. She met with her cabinet again yesterday to discuss the tariffs imposed by the United States government on Mexico and to evaluate the actions her administration will take in this regard. And I quote, yesterday, I have another meeting with the Ministry of Economy, a large team, and we always analyze the issue of tariffs, the relationship with the United States, and the meetings we held last week. Therefore, we analyze every decision, its pros and cons, and we always seek the best for the country, she stated at yesterday's morning press conference. And this is our first block of news. Let us take a quick look at what's happening with the weather so we can see what kind of day we can expect, starting with Snarky Weather's comment, and it is woohoo. The sun is out. Now I can incinerate meat bags with my giant magnifying lens. Oh my God, I used to do that to ants when I was a kid, and I'm not particularly proud of that. 31 degrees right now, humidity is at 68%, and our weather forecast for today says we're going to have clear skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon at 12% chance of rain. Tomorrow, Wednesday, mostly clear skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a 37% chance of rain, of course, a high of 34 and a low of 23. And then on Thursday, mostly clear skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 75%. So that's still happening. A high temperature of 32 and a low temperature of 23. Isn't this supposed to be hurricane season? Like, where are the hurricanes? We had one or two, and then it's been really, really quiet in the Pacific. And while it's raining quite a bit in the metropolitan area of Guadalajara and other parts of Jalisco, we're not seeing that much water in Puerto Vallarta. I hope this changes. And let's see what else we have. Oh, yes, I wanted to ask you, how is trash collection going on in your neighborhood? I came across this news item. Apparently, the city had agreed to pick up trash in Versalles on a daily basis and did so for a while, but then they just stopped after a couple of months. Here in Colonia La Avena, just on the other side of Francisco Villa, I noticed yesterday while they promise to deliver trash, to pick up trash Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays before 8:30 a.m., I noticed yesterday that, I left the house at 11:45 in the morning to go into Emiliano Zapata, and the trash had not been collected. So I don't know if it's just me or if it's the whole city. If you've noticed any changes in your trash collection schedule, feel free to let us know just for the sake of comparison. And of course, I've spared you the whole saga of Lady Tamales because, these ladies and these lords, they come and go. They insult someone or they harm someone. They are captured on video. They are identified, and then all hell breaks loose on their well being. In the case of Lady Tamales, who was filmed destroying a tamales stand in Guadalajara and insulting the owner, she has come forth and said, I am affected personally and professionally, you think. So she has reappeared in public to apologize. Needless to say, the initial video of the incident sparked outrage on social media and went viral within hours, but she has posted an update. I'm here with a young lady at the scene, apologizing personally to her and apologizing publicly. I'm sorry, ashamed of everything that happened, and I don't want this to continue because I'm truly deeply affected personally and professionally. And I say, Tomala, and I answer or comment that it is unfortunately that things like these happen not only in Mexico but everywhere else. We don't want to make it a habit of emphasizing these people that behave badly. Like I didn't even talk about the American man in Ajijic that well, let's not even go there. Um, but oh yeah, in this day and age, to see people behaving badly and getting caught on tape, on video. I mean, what about the guy that went with to a concert, a Coldplay concert north of the border? I'm sure you heard about that one. And if you didn't, just write the word Coldplay in your comment, and I'll be happy to fill you in. And before we get into our show and tell of Yelapa, and in case you need a conversation starter when you sit at your favorite bar this afternoon for happy hour, I got you covered. Today, July 22nd of 2025, the Earth will complete one rotation on its axis in 1.34 milliseconds less time than the conventional 24-hour period. Although this variation is almost imperceptible in everyday life, it represents a significant phenomenon within an unusual trend that has captured the attention of scientists and timekeepers around the world. Apparently, since 2020, the planet has shown an irregular acceleration in its rotation, resulting in several of the shortest days since atomic clock records began in 1973. Why is the planet spinning faster? I have no idea. It could be all that methane. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Methane, Paco, just stick to the news or stick to the show and tells. Let's get started with the show and tell, shall we? Yesterday, Yesterday, we were talking about an article that was published by Tribuna de la Bahía on how to get to Las Ánimas Beach. And of course, I went looking prior to the show for my own photo bank on Las Ánimas and couldn't find any. And while I was broadcasting, my dear, dear friend Corey, who was watching from Portland, sent me a link to his awesome collection of the trip we took to Las Ánimas 7 years ago in 2018. So while these photographs are not recent, they will give you a basic idea of the lay of the land in Las Ánimas. And I will start by setting up my pointer because I'm going to need my pointer. There it is. So there's the pier in Las Ánimas. And I know that it's been rebuilt or it is in the process of being rebuilt. So don't shake me if the pier doesn't look like the way it looks now. So you get off the pier, and even looking at this image, you can see how the water is very clear, and the slope on the beach is not very pronounced. So you can walk for a fair amount for a fair length in the water and still be swimming and stepping on the ground. So you get off the bridge or the passage, the access to the pier. And there are all these palapas and eateries to the left and the right or of the pier, or to the north or the south of the pier, actually, because this would be north, this would be south. So, of course, as you descend from the pier, you're going to be wondering where to go. And I'll get into that in a second. Um, Before we go there, of course, we started our adventure in Boca de Tomatlan, where we parked the car. And Boca de Tomatlan that's me with Jasmine, my friend Corey, and Don's daughter. And of course, Boca de Tomatlan has been updating their malecon. And if this is the way it looked like um, almost a decade ago, I'm sure that it looks even better today. And here I am with little Jasmine, who is now older. Corey was telling me that she's getting her driver's permit so that she can start driving her own car. And I'm sitting here on the water taxi with Sandy of Teatro Sin Borders, so I might as well establish some family relationships here. Corey and I have been very, very good friends since I lived in Boston. When I lived in Boston, he lived with his aunt, Sandy. So that's how I met them. That's how I know them. And that's how Sandy and I go back so many years. What was I pointing at? I have no idea. But Corey captured these dolphins from the water taxi as we were heading to Las Ánimas from Boca de Tomatlan. As you go from Las Ánimas to Boca, here's a landmark. Here is the I think it's called Carricitos, Carellitos. I think that's the name of the beach. This is the smallest beach in the state of Jalisco. You can actually hike there from Boca de Tomatlan and continue hiking south towards Las Ánimas. But looking at this person down here shows you just how small and how cute this little beach is. Moving right along, there's the pier in Boca de Tomatlan. It's over here. And as you can see, there are palapas on the left side of the pier. There are palapas on the right side of the pier. And I want you to pay attention to this two-story structure here, because that's my favorite landing place. And this is what it looks like from the pier. Why do I like to get here? Well, to be honest with you, because the bathrooms are better. That's the bottom line. I mean, I enjoy my rural escapes, but sometimes when you go to these places, the toilets, let's just say the toilets are cleaner and better at this particular location, where you can sit downstairs and you can crash there for the day. I remember one time we went and there was enough of us that we took over the second story, and it's right on the beach. And because this is the last or one of the last places to hang out on the southern side of the beach, you have to walk like 5 or 7 minutes to get there from the pier. But once you're there, it's like no one is going to really bother you. This is the view of the pier from this particular restaurant or eatery. And from then, of course, you can go and explore the ocean. You might be thinking to yourself, well, there are rocks there. Well, the ocean is whimsical and temperamental. Sometimes I've gone and you don't see a single rock. Sometimes the beach is rocky, but it is what it is. It's Mother Nature. And of course, there is Jasmine with Don, her other dad, and they're enjoying the surf. And this is another look of them enjoying themselves. You can barely catch the tip of the pier here. You can see a little road back here. This road is part of the path that you take from Boca de Tomatlan to Las Ánimas. I've never walked back because, I'm lazy. I'd like to walk there. And once you get there, you reward yourself with the experience of being there, and you reward yourself with the experience of catching a boat back. Corey has an affinity of capturing critters, and here are some little crabs that Corey captured on the beach. He also captured this lovely little bird, maybe trying to make a meal out of the little crabs. And of course, no trip could be complete without a chachalaca doing what they do best, which is making obnoxious, loud, beautiful noise. That's what chachalacas are in this planet for, among other things. What else do we have? We have this one, which once again shows the place where we were parked for the day. And again, it's just a matter of personal preference. I have never tried any of the other palapas. Somehow I've always gravitated to this one, but any restaurant here will offer you a comparable experience of basic Mexican food and bar drinks and whatnot. And that's that. Then here's another photo that Corey took from the very, very end of the beach. Once again, you can see the pier over here, the place where we stayed for the day. And what else do we have next? Here's Jasmine. Oh my God, she was so young. She was so young. And here we are enjoying our meal, which again, you can expect beautiful, beautiful service at this place. And this is the view from where we were sitting. Again, you don't see a lot of people on the beach, certainly not this time of year. And as I mentioned yesterday in the broadcast, if you get there early, if you take a water taxi early, the day trippers that take larger boats don't arrive until between 12 and 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So if you get there by 10 or 10:30, you have essentially the place for yourself. Here is Jasmine with Sandy and I taking a little walk on the beach. And of course, we can't get away from these paparazzis. So as long as they're there, dun dun, we struck a pose, and why not? And when it was time to go back, I have this photograph of Don and Jasmine getting ready to hop on the boat to return to Boca de Tomatlan. You may be wondering, why is the boat approaching the beach and not the pier? And honestly, I don't remember if for this particular instance, it had to do with the fact that the pier was being repaired, or sometimes the ocean conditions are such that the boat operators choose to use the beach instead of the pier. All I can say about that is they're the experts, they know better. But what you want to do in these cases is, first of all, you want to buy a round trip ticket, and you want to take note of the name of the panga that is going to come back and pick you up, or at least remember what it looks like. Like in the case of this panga, I might think, well, this is a panga that had the big flag on it. You want to think of a nice reference that helps you identify, because sometimes the pangas will come and pick you up, and if you're not where you're supposed to be, they will wait for you for a little while, but then they will get going. So you don't want to miss your boat, no pun intended. And that is our show and tell of Las Ánimas Beach. Before we take a look at your comments, how about this?
What do Marvin Gaye, Diana Ross, Stevie Wonder, and Smokey Robinson have in common? They all came out of one place, Detroit, Michigan, Hitsville, USA. In the middle of the civil rights era, one man, Berry Gordy, built a musical empire with a simple mission: make music so good it breaks every barrier. From street corners to global stages, Motown wasn't just a record label. It was the sound of young America. Join Paco Ojeda for Stop in the Name of Soul, an engaging, music-filled presentation featuring 10 iconic recordings that tell the story of Motown's rise, its revolution, and its rhythm. Expect legends, expect stories, expect goosebumps. Stop in the Name of Soul will take place at the Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work on Thursday, July 24th at 5 p.m. Tickets are 300 pesos cash, available at the reception. Seating is limited. Get yours early.
Ooh, yes, and Motown is almost ready. I am so excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. So it's time to take a look at your comments. Good morning, everyone. It's always a pleasure to see your good mornings. Dun, 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 dun. Yes, yes, yes. Many, many good mornings. What? What? Did I know this? Oh, you wrote about this, right, Muffin? You're going to Disneyland? Well, have fun. Take lots of photos and bring back souvenirs. And I hope you brought a good book to keep yourself entertained at the airport. Let's see what else we have. This mayor is doing so many good things for the people and city, says JC. You know, either that or it could be both things. His PR engine is doing their job. Its job. You know, I mean, I'm not going to say that the previous mayor did more or less than this mayor, but it is nice to see that part of his team clearly understands the responsibility of keeping the general public abreast of what the municipality is about. And I certainly appreciate that. Let's see what else we have. Woohoo! Chris says, hopefully those shitty beaches get cleaned up. It would be the shits to swim there. Well, yeah, it is one of those things. You know, hopefully, well, it happens every year, which is why I was saying earlier that the history of this repeats itself. Let's see what else. The sun has certainly been incinerating here in Puerto Vallarta in the last many days. Looking forward to a gentler climate for a few days. You know, I have to confess it's been challenging for me. I live in a top-story apartment, and upstairs there's nothing but concrete. And it shines, the sun shines on the roof all day long, and I can certainly feel it. I was telling Larcito, we had lunch yesterday together at the Mercado in Colonia Emiliano Zapata, where the cheese lady was not in presence. She apparently went to Michoacan to buy more cheese. But I was telling Lars that it's been difficult to concentrate through the early afternoon with the heat. So I'm taking naps early afternoon, and then I'm waking up and being productive till later in the evening. Wherever you are in Puerto Vallarta, I hope you're taking measures to take care of yourself in this summer weather. Let's see. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Luckily, we don't have a trash pickup issue here in Bucerias. That's good to know. Thank you for the report. Let's see. Don't the police come and arrest these tamales? Sets a bad example of not respecting behavior. Yes, tómala. Well, you know, it depends on the situation. There, you know, the bottom line is regardless of what the police does or doesn't do, more often than not, oh my God, you guys didn't hear about the Coldplay? I'll get to that in a second. Regardless of the situation with these people that behave badly, it's social media that destroys you. It is the commenting and the reposting and this, that, and the other. And that is precisely what happened with a Coldplay concert in the United States, where, you know, when they have these concerts at stadiums, they often have what they call the kiss cam or the couples cam or whatever. And a totally innocent camera pointed at a couple that was enjoying the concert. And this turned bad because the man in the couple was the CEO of some important company in the United States. The woman he was being lovey-dovey with was a staffer in this company and not his wife. And this photograph or this video made news at national level north of the border. I caught a couple of posts, and the end of it all was that the CEO ended up quitting his job, either quitting or asked to quit. God knows what happened to his marriage. And, this is what happens when you behave badly and you get captured on video. Let's see. Oh my God, with the fast spinning of the world, that's why we're aging faster. Well, my soul keeps getting younger and younger, Angelica. It is my knee joints and other accessories that seem to be degrading. But what can I tell you? Thank you for that, Laura. I don't remember how I tied it, but I remember watching a YouTube tutorial to do that. Let's see. Thanks for the photos of Las Ánimas. They make me want to return. Me too, Barbara. It's been a while, and it's been a while since I've been to the South Shore. I certainly haven't been to the South Shore since the pandemic, so I'm looking forward to Yelapa next month with Lars and a couple other friends that will join us. I am so excited. It's not even funny. Let's see what else. Bathrooms are really important, especially to my wife. Well, if the situation calls for, an alfresco experience, if you catch my drift, it is what it is. But to know ahead of time that you're going to go to a place where if you have to sit down and think, you'll be able to do so comfortably, I like to know so that I can make a choice for what I want to have. So all I can say about Las Ánimas is that lovely location to the right of the pier, they have good places to sit down and make a statement if you need to do so. Let's see what else. Oh my God, Linda, you guys, I hope you're enjoying your trip, and thank you for checking in from España. Let's see what else we have. Oh, ooh. How did you find the food there? I found it by looking at the menu. Just kidding, Laura. Queen of question. The food was lovely. It's like you don't go to these places to expect breathtaking gourmet statements. It's not the kind of place. You get your basic fajitas, your basic tacos, enchiladas, chicken mole, coconut shrimp, the usual fare that you find at any place on the beach. And it was lovely. It is lovely. And, if you arrive to these places and you treat the work staff kindly, they will treat you kindly. If you tell them, if you express that you're happy to see them and you're happy to be there, they will be happy to see you. At least that's the way I approach these things. Let's see. Well, Dev says, I've cleaned a few baños on the fly just cuz. And I say, well, it happens to the best of us. It happens to the best of us. Let's see what is we have. I grew up on Motown, and I'm so sorry I'm not in PV today to attend your presentation. Well, it's on Thursday. So if you're in PV on Thursday, there you have it. We all have our favorite Motown songs. I am sure you do. And the beautiful thing about the songs that I chose is that they are very closely aligned with the history behind the record label. We are not going to have some iconic Motown songs that may be in your love list, but we are going to have a nice vision of how the label developed. I'm excited. Let's see. Michikama and I have shifted our schedules too, Paco, says Betsy Ann. Well, it is part of what we do in the summer months. We make the best we can with the weather that is headed our way. And this year is certainly no exception. I think we're done. We are done. So let me find my buttons. There you go. Thank you, as always, for supporting Coffee and Headlines. If you found information today that made you laugh, that you found useful, that will help you have a better experience in Puerto Vallarta today or whenever you're here, please keep us in mind. We are here thanks to your own support. Keep us in mind by sharing information about Coffee and Headlines and spreading the word. I am off to seize the day. I hope you seize the day as well. And I will see you back here tomorrow morning for more stories, more coffee, and more headlines. Have a great day.